Ice cream, you scream. We all scream for ice cream. Today we're coming to you from Murphy's Ice Cream in downtown Woburn, Woburn's newest ice cream parlor. Here you can walk into the past with their homemade ice cream, old-fashioned soda fountain, and Rockola jukebox. There's also plenty of memorabilia to check out too. Excuse me, I trip over that word. Seems to me that ice cream has been around forever. Did a little research, and one encyclopedia said that ice cream seems to date back to 2000 BC from China. Another suggests that Marco Polo brought a recipe to Italy from the Far East in about 1295. It was then popularized by Italy around the 17th century. And here in America, it became known it was what it was about 1851, when a Baltimore milk dealer found himself with an excess of cream, and he began producing ice cream in quantity. Today, well over 800 million gallons of ice cream are sold in the United States annually. If you include ice milk, sherbet, water ices, it's 1 billion. And I don't even know what it would be if you included all the frozen yogurts that people have out today. From these numbers, it's clear that no matter what the weather is outside, people still love ice cream. And New Englanders eat more ice cream than any other part in the country. The ice cream sold here is homemade, made by another ice cream parlor in Burlington. To me, homemade ice cream is always the best. Okay, we're going to start today with an Oreo ice cream pie. Nice, delicious treat for dessert. First, you'll need to get 2 Oreo cookie pie shells, which you can find in the supermarket. Sometimes they're near the cake mixes, but sometimes it might be near the pudding mixes too, since pudding is usually what goes in these pies. Okay, what you're going to do in a bowl, you're going to soften a half gallon of cookies and cream ice cream, which you've already started going. Now, you might think this cookies and cream is a little darker than the others. What the person that makes our ice cream here he actually puts the cookies in with the mixture, and so that's why it's got more of a chocolatey color, but it is just regular vanilla ice cream with the cookies in it. Okay, to that, you're going to add a 3-ounce box of instant vanilla pudding. Now watch this when you go to the store. I thought I had picked up 3 boxes of instant yesterday, and I had 2 regular, the cook and serve, and 1 instant, so just be careful. You're going to put that in, and 1 8-ounce container of any kind of thawed whipped topping. I'm going to use the lighter kind. Okay, get that all out. Now these are a treat that will be well taken by people. I already have people yesterday fighting over them, and I hadn't even made them yet. So we're just going to mix that all up until it's good and mixed. And this will actually make 2 pies. You know, it'd be hard this is the type of recipe, it's kind of difficult to have because you're using the pudding and the whipped topping. Okay. So, like I said, homemade ice cream to me is the best, and I will travel far and wide just to go find some. My friend and I last summer actually drove over an hour to a place to go find some homemade ice cream at this place that I love, and it was well worth it. Okay, once you get that all mixed up good, you're just going to pour it into your pie shells very carefully. Do it evenly. I find sometimes it's better to put a little less in the first shell if you're doing something like this, and then that way you don't have to worry about it getting too short on one. And then you can just come back if there's any extra. Spatulas work really great to clear, plastic ones, to clear the sides of the bowls. There you go. And that's about good. Now the pies always come with plastic cover. You can go ahead, put the cover back on, and you're just going to go ahead, stick it in your freezer for about 2 hours until they get all firm. They'll be ready to eat then. Okay. Another thing Murphy's Ice Cream sells here is they don't only sell ice cream, they also sell a good variety of candy. One of the candies is gummy worms. Now, I haven't seen too many worms in my experience with ice cream, but I sure have seen them out in dirt. So that's what we're going to do, is make some dirt for these worms. First, you're going to start with 8 ounces of cream cheese, softened. To that, you're going to add 1/4 cup of margarine, softened. And you're just going to mix those up with your hand mixer. Sometimes if it builds up around the mixes, don't worry about that. Just put it on a little bit of a higher speed and it'll come right off. There you go. Scrape any excess off. Okay. Now, to that, you're going to fold in 16 ounces of the whipped topping, same that we used on the pie. And as well as 3½ cups of milk and 2 packages of, again, the instant pudding mix. Let's get this going a little bit first. This is a nice treat. One thing you can do with this, since it is dirt, if you want to make it into a dirt type of, you know, make it look more like dirt, you can put it in a flower pot at the end when it's all done, and you can garnish it with not only the worms but some flowers as well. One thing, when I went to school, when I was away at school in Michigan, we had this very good ice cream out there in the dorms, which is clearly you could see how people say that you gain the freshman 15 when you go to school, and it was clear from that because we constantly ate ice cream. One thing we would, the dining hall that had the ice cream in it, you could either get 1 scoop or 2, and we usually sometimes we'd go up and get 1 scoop and we'd be like, oh, that was really, really good. Oh, let's go get another scoop. Now, this is a little thin. I think I actually did a little bit out of order. You do want to put the pudding in the mix, get the pudding going first, and then add the whipped topping. But this should still be okay because once we put it in the refrigerator, it'll get harder. Get out any lumps that are in there. Okay. Like I said, you could put it in a flower pot if you'd like, but we're just going to use just a container so you'll be able to see what it's going to look like all layered up. And you're going to start with a layer of cookies on the bottom. What I'm using is just crushed Oreo cookies. You can get, you know, this. You just buy a package of Oreos, 16-ounce package. Crush them up, and I'm just going to use a thing to make it easier to scoop in. Then you put a layer of the mixture. And then to that, after that, you do layer the cookies. And another layer of the mixture. You can see it actually is getting a little thicker right now. Another layer of the cookies. Okay, we'll top it off with a layer of the mixture. And take the worms. This is, as you can see, a very messy treat. And just layer the worms in there anywhere you want. You can have them hanging out the sides, or one sticking up the middle. There you go. And you have yourself a bowl of dirt. Now, if you want to make, if you're having a party, you could also make individual ones just by taking some of the little, these are metal muffin cups, and you just do the same thing, but just in a smaller thing. And I suggest the metal ones because they are heavier, and they'd be a little stronger for you. And you just add a worm to it. probably be fun for the kids to make too. Kids love to get messy. There you go. Okay, excuse me while I grab a napkin to clean my hand off for the next one. Okay, another thing when I was out at school that we had out there is at this restaurant, we had what were called Cookie Monsters. Now, I always loved Cookie Monster on Sesame Street. So what this is you take a fresh baked cookie straight from the oven, and I just went ahead last night and I just bought the rolled kind of cookie dough because I just found, it was a little easier, more, less time consuming. And like I said, take it right out of the oven. And what you're going to do is make a hot fudge sundae on top. Now I want to talk a minute here about the scoops. You see we have a wide variety of scoops. We have just a regular curved kind. Now this kind I think actually has a liquid in the bottom, which will help to heat up the scoop and make the ice cream a little softer as you scoop it. There's the classic kind that has, you scoop it out and then you push the little button and it plops the scoop out. This is the curved kind. This is a nice thing what we use when we're hand packing the pints or quarts here, and that just helps us to dig it all out. And you just have another kind of variety. This is just one of my favorites. I think I picked it up in a dollar store, and it's just, for some reason, it just makes the scooping really easy. What I'm going to do is going to start with this one, and we'll make a vanilla sundae. It's a nice hot cookie. These things, when we had them at school, they had singles and doubles, and the doubles were supposed to be to share, but I know a few people that could eat them themselves. Okay, 2 or 3 scoops. To that, some nice hot fudge. And you can get the hot fudge here in pints. Put it all over. Make sure it gets on the cookie, on all the ice cream. Plenty of whipped cream. Some people say, whipped cream is supposed to be a complement to the ice cream, and you're not supposed to put tons of it, but I prefer tons. So let's put it all around. And then, of course, top your sundae off with a cherry. And these, like I said, you got to eat them right away because the cookie is hot, and they are just absolutely delicious. Now, another cookie treat that I like to make, again, you just take cookies. These ones, though, you have to let them cool down first. Good-sized cookies. And you just take whatever kind of ice cream you want. We'll do a couple different flavors. Get a nice round scoop. And put it between your cookies. And just sandwich it in. Now this was probably ready to eat because the ice cream is pretty hard. But sometimes if it's not hard enough, or maybe you're not going to eat it till later, wrap it up real good in some plastic wrap and stick it in the freezer. Now, one thing to help scoop ice cream, sometimes people will think they, put the scoop in hot water, get it hot, and it will make it easier. Now that is true, but one thing with that is that if you do that, your ice cream will actually form a thin layer on it, and it'll crystallize, and it will make it, over the time, it'll make it not taste as well. So you can use cold ice cream will work, cold water, will work as well. Sometimes just use a little elbow grease. It's just the best thing to do. Now, let's be careful. There you go, we'll do a chocolate one. Whoops. We'll try a different cookie. My cookie broke on that one. And one thing you can do, I've seen, you can roll the cookie. You can get it rolled if you have a big enough scoop. And some little baby chips. This doesn't want to do it, so we'll just put them on ourselves. And that's a way to have an extra treat. And we'll just make some room. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to look at some different ice cream drinks that we can make at home.
I love the benefits.
Working part-time nights at UPS allows me to go to school during the day, and they also help pay my tuition.
The convenient hours here work around almost any schedule. I'm proud to say I work for UPS.
For a great part-time job, call UPS at 441-3400.
My wish is to visit my grandparents on their farm and pet the cats and ride the horse and just be able to see them.
My wish is to meet the Golden State Warriors basketball team. I like dinner.
These kids aren't asking for very much. Please, help us give it to them.
Okay, what you're looking at is just one of the pieces of memorabilia that you can find here at Murphy's. This clock was donated by one of the employees here. Thought it would be a neat thing to have and would blend right in with all that we have here. Okay, and according to that clock, it is now time to make drinks. What we're going to start with is fraps, which you can make at home, even if you don't have one of the frap machines that we have here. What you do is start off with 2 scoops, good-sized scoops of your favorite kind of ice cream. We're going to be doing coffee, and if you have flavorings at home, sometimes you can find flavorings in the coffee section. I know a lot of people like to make raspberry coffees and any new kinds of coffees that you can find now. Otherwise, you don't need to use the flavor. You'll get plenty of flavor from the ice cream. But if you do have the flavors, we're just using squirts, because this is the old-fashioned way of doing things. You put a few hits of the flavor in and add a good amount of milk. Now, the amount of milk, on our cups, we have a little line to tell us where to put the milk in, but you do however much milk you want. If you want it thicker, do a little less milk. If you want it thinner, do a little more milk. And one thing you'll find that in other parts of the country, they don't have fraps. They just have plain old milkshakes, which is the same thing as what we call a frap. Here at Murphy's, you can get a frap or a milkshake, and a milkshake is just milk with the flavoring in it, and then we throw it in the blender here. Now, if you don't have one of these frap machines at home, what you can do is you just take your hand mixer, take one of the beaters off, and just use one of the beaters, put it in a tall glass. Sometimes I've used the travel mugs that you get from the coffee stores, and you just put it in, and you just blend it around until it's smooth. Another thing you can do if you have a blender, you just stick it in the blender. Okay, just get it going until it's good and smooth. Sometimes you might have some extra lumps, but that's okay. Just take a nice tall glass and pour it in, and add a straw and enjoy it. Now, one of my favorite drinks to have is a root beer float. Now, for that, again, first we're going to start by making the soda the old-fashioned way, which is how we always do it here. For this, we're going to add, for ours, we had 4 squirts of the root beer flavored syrup, and then we just add soda water. It makes it perfect every time. This is how they used to do it in the old days, and they used to call them soda jerks, the people that worked at the ice cream parlors, because they jerked the sodas. They, jerking the soda fountain down. Now, for this, you don't want to add ice. Instead, what you do add is a nice big scoop of vanilla ice cream. It'll get nice and frothy. Let's get it all in there. You can also do this with Cokes. People have Coke floats. I don't think I've ever heard of a Sprite float, but I'm sure if you really like Sprite, you could do that too. All right, we're gonna do one more drink. And Kevin, why don't you come on over here, talk to us for a little bit. This is Kevin Meany. He's one of the 3 owners here at Murphy's Ice Cream. And why don't you, before we make the soda, why don't you tell us a little bit now? Obviously, your name is Meany and not Murphy. And now you were saying that you're a probation officer, your brother's a police officer, and your sister-in-law, who's also an owner, had been a dental hygienist, and now she's bringing more beautiful children into this world. So what? Yeah. Well, how does it doesn't seem like any of you have any business background. How does anyone like that own an ice cream shop?
Well, we kind of came up with the idea maybe about a year ago. We thought it would be nice to have the center. Once Brigham's left, it was here for years. We thought maybe it would be nice to have an ice cream parlor back in, and we had an opportunity to speak with Jimmy Murphy, who owned this place, which was Murphy's Drug Store. Murphy's Drug was here since about 1929, and all the stuff you see here is an original the woodwork, also the soda fountain. All this is original. It's been here since the 50s. And we thought it would be nice to bring it back, have a type of nostalgic, old-fashioned Woburn place. And so we decided to jump in. And we've got experts like yourself who know how to make the ice creams because we're kind of learning ourselves.
Okay, now this building too has been here forever, right?
Yeah, it's been here. I think the building was built in right around 1890s, and it was a Witch's drugstore, a gentleman who had a pharmacy, and then Murphy's, like I said, jumped in here about 1920s, right. And it closed at about, I want to say 1989, and went out of business, you know, because of CVS and Oscar, the big stores kind of knocked the old pharmacies out. But we're fortunate to have Jimmy Murphy kept all the original woodwork and everything, and we're actually lucky enough that this wasn't changed. You know, because you see a lot of stores that go out of business, they either remodel, they got the place, but he kept this the same.
Right. So, excellent. How things going so far? People
actually, business
people
has
like
been pretty good.
The old stuff and come in and say, oh,
yeah. One of the big things is you can't see them here, but we have a couple old phone booths, and a lot of people come in. They're like, that's where I called my wife back in 1950s. They used to meet her on the corner, and a lot of people had some good memories. A lot of people just come in and they look around, you know, and you have to ask them, you know, can we help you? But I think people like it.
I'm sure they'll come back for ice cream later.
That's
okay, so you're going to show us a strawberry soda.
Yeah,
right?
I'm going to show a strawberry soda, the best that I can.
Okay. Again, you can get these flavors at the supermarket if you want. So what do we start with?
What we start with is 2 pumps of the strawberry syrup that we have here. We also add 2 ounces of milk. Just like that. And what we do here is we use the soda on the back edge. It's kind of a fine spray. We just kind of shoot it down the back so it doesn't foam up and over the side of the glass, which I always... This has come through a lot of practice.
I think I've foamed it over a few times.
Okay. Kind of mix the syrup up a little bit. And now this is where I kind of have, there's a debate whether you put the ice cream in the glass or you put it on the side, but I kind of like to put it in because it kind of falls off the side of the glass for me. But what you do is you just put it up like that, straw in it, and you got to remember the spoon as well. I'll put it in there too. And that's your strawberry soda.
Excellent.
Not bad.
No, not bad. Very good. Thank you very much. Hope people will come down and see your wonderful place that they have here. A few more tips on the ice cream that I have. With the dirt, again, you can do, if you enjoy that, if you want to make it really dirty, you can make it, use chocolate pudding instead of the vanilla pudding. You can also, with the sodas, use any flavor that you want. Some mixture flavors if you don't want just a coffee frap, you can make a mocha frap. And what that would be is using maybe chocolate ice cream and a coffee-flavored syrup, or the other way around. And again, like I said, if you don't have the syrups, don't worry about that. I made a strawberry shake at home last week, and I just used the strawberry ice cream and the just regular plain old milk, and it tasted just fine. One thing I want to point out now, the weather seems to have gotten a wee bit chilly out there. March is definitely coming in like a lion. Hopefully it'll go out like a lamb and spring will come soon. But I have tried this out, and I know other people have said it too, but a hot fudge sundae will warm you up faster than a cup of hot chocolate. So come on down and try. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us once again. I'm Nancy Marie. And remember, no matter what you're cooking or where you're cooking, have fun doing it. We'll see you next time.